Hold up, before you get to watching this video, let me talk to you for a second. Hit that bell down below and subscribe to the Fitz Take Podcast YouTube channel so you'll know when every episode is dropping or if something has been posted on this page. Also, be sure to follow me and Elijah on our social media platforms. They will be linked down in the description. Now back to the episode. We're going to round out the show. We are flying through this one pretty quickly with our Fitz Take, in which it's a topic that I feel like isn't talked about really enough. It's kind of a underlying issue that's happening on the football field between the young quarterbacks in the NFL. Is the NFL, is the league, or coaches within the NFL, are they failing these young quarterbacks? Or is it more of the fact that colleges are pushing a lot of superstar QBs that are just truly overrated and are not ready for the limelight? Elijah, what do you feel like it is? Is it more on the league or is it more on the college ranks on why these quarterbacks, players like, Bryce Young, not turning out to be as great as what they anticipated to be? What is it that's truly happening, for these quarterbacks when they transition over to being a professional?
I think honestly we overlook when it comes to the NFL draft. Like we prioritize the quarterback need to go first. The quarterback, the quarterback, the quarterback, the quarterback. Not every quarterback is a number one pick. I know that we look at it as a franchise changer, as a things like that, but they're not. Everyone is a number one pick. Think about this for a second. When you have left tackles, when you have offensive line, when you have defensive linemen, when you have cornerbacks, safeties, wide receivers out there, I wish that the draft would go back to prioritizing who is the best person in this draft. Who is the best player that fit my system? As you can see, things go down and fall down the line. Like, Tom Brady was like in the sixth round. You know what I'm saying? Patrick Mahomes fell down in the draft. A lot of people didn't even believe in him. They sat him out a year and developed him under the Andy Reid system. Same thing with Tom. Peyton Manning he had a rough rookie year, but they developed him as well, and then he became his own guy after a while. So it's like these quarterbacks, not everyone they come in, they are NFL ready, and sometimes we over prioritize everything they could do. Like Jamarcus Russell to me was one of those guys that could have been something on the next level. I feel like he didn't have the proper development of how to be coached at that moment, and I've seen bits and pieces of the pivot when they talk to him about it. So, but again, it's just like, look, man, we have to realize that I know the quarterback is the face of the team, the face of the league, and things of that nature. But sometimes you have to prioritize like what is the best thing for me and for my situation. Not every time it's the quarterback. And we're looking at it like I just said, Carson Beck earlier in the show. He's not good, but I guarantee later on in the year they're going to be like he's should be picked high as a quarterback. Quentin Ewers, he's not good, but the thing is they're going to say we should go grab him because he played quarterback for Texas. Like it's not that big, man. Like it's not that big of a deal. I think the guy from LSU, Garrett Nussmeier, to me reminds me, and I'm saying this as a Rams fan all the way through, reminds me of Matthew Stafford. But that man need to sit out a year on the next level and get coached up because I think he can be something good in the league. But it's just that he has like this talent where it's kind of weird. Like it's good, but at the same time, it's like he just need so some more play recognition, things of that nature, where to go with the ball, pre-snap reads. That's what I feel about Garrett. I think he has the arm talent, but the NFL is a different beast because everything's faster. Everything's like to me more so like a scheme thing. And I think Garrett has that talent. I think a lot of these other quarterbacks do too, but some of them are not first round picks. I don't know why it's not Adam Schefter. Who's the guy that does this stuff for ESPN? Um,
Mel Kiper.
Mel Kiper. Like I don't know if agents are paying him to say what he need to say about these quarterbacks, but it's not true. Not all of these guys are very very good. They're not. Some of them are not good, and that's the bottom line. Like look at the players. Look at these players. I think the best players that was in the draft last year that went number one. That went in the first round. I think Jaden Daniels is good. I think Caleb is okay, but I think Malik is exceptional. I think Verse was pretty good. Who else was in the first round that is really good that I really think? But these are guys that's not the number one pick. So, and they're not besides the quarterbacks. These guys been balling outside the league. Brock Bowers. So again, I just think that we got to stop prioritizing this quarterback position. I know they're the face of the franchise, but that's not it, man. You got to do what's best for the team, and that's not it.
You mentioned talking about who was drafted in the first round in quarterback. You had Caleb. You had three quarterbacks to go back to back to back. Caleb, Jaden, Drake May. After that, you had Michael Penix Jr., J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix, and then no other quarterbacks were taken in the first round. The next quarterback that was taken, I believe, and I feel like we talked about this before, was like somewhere in the fourth round. It was a while before a quarterback was taken. Um, and out of those quarterbacks that were drafted in the first round, Michael Penix is not a starter. Um, Drake May has been thrust into the position of being a starter now. JJ McCarthy tore his knee, so he didn't get the opportunity. But Sam Darnold would have been the starter off the gate and is playing extremely well. Here's the thing, with the amount of money that these players are getting paid fresh out of the gate, uh, especially when it's in the first round, the teams feel like because this is the investment that they have put in, that they're paying this money, they don't have 2 to 3 years to sit. Because if I sign you to a 4-year deal, if you can't show me something in 2 to 3 years, I can't know what to do with you to resign you. And when it comes time to resign you, you're gonna want the market value. But there's no way that you can test what the true market value is if you haven't played. So I feel like a lot of these players are getting thrust into the position of playing simply off of the fact they're getting paid a whole lot of money now. You got to answer the bill because of the amount of money that you're making, which to some degree I believe is true. But I also believe the franchise has to put those guys in the best position to win. You know, when Atlanta took Michael Penix, a lot of people were saying, "Why do you do that when you just paid all that money for Kirk Cousins?" Because they're looking towards the future. He's going to have an opportunity to sit behind Kirk Cousins and learn how to be a professional, how to be a quarterback in the NFL. Because not only do you factor in the how do you read a defense, how do you throw this pass, how do you get your timing right with your receivers, man, you got to simply learn how to build a routine as a starting quarterback to begin with. Because in college, you got your 8 o'clock classes. You might have some online classes here, depending on what type of level of a player you are, if you need to be out in the public too much or not. But you got classes to factor all that in. When you in the NFL, this is your job. You can wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and go watch film. You can go to the training room whenever you want to. You have 24-hour access to go to the facility. These guys need to learn. You talked about Jamarcus Russell and the conversations that came out about, they gave him tapes and said, "Did you watch the film?" And he lied and said yes. If he has somebody showing him, bro, this is what you need to do to go out and watch film. Now, it is on these players to soak up that knowledge.
Mhm.
But I do believe that there should be a veteran quarterback in there to try to teach these young quarterbacks how to be a veteran and how to be a professional in the league. You know, two guys that you point to right now that haven't been given the best opportunities to learn right away is Bryce Young and Anthony Richardson. You know, Bryce Young was they're already talking about potentially trading the kid, and he's only been in the league 2 years. Like, come on, man. And it's because of the amount of money that they are paying him as a rookie. They're trying to get a return on their investment. So if it's not panning out within the first 2 to 3 years, we got to get you out of here so we can make money back to either, be profitable for us or that it, relates and gets us into wins. Obviously, we saw what happened with Anthony Richardson, and we joked about it last week about him saying, he was tired and he tapped on his helmet. Um, but if he would have had, obviously he has Joe Flacco in the locker room, but obviously the conversation is not enough to him to tell him, bro, you don't do that. First of all, if you are gonna do that, you don't tell the media, I ain't gonna lie to you, I was tired. You got to come up with something else, bro. That's a part of teaching these guys how to be professionals. Um, does it have somewhat to do with the college teams? Of course. But college football is not like professional football. You got a lot of these guys, they're just now getting to the point where they have the microphone in their helmets. to where they can hear the play call in their helmets. They're just now getting to this point. It's 2024. For years before that, these guys were going from getting hand signals, running players in and out to call it in the huddle, no huddle offenses, all of these different things, into automatically having to hear the play call in your head and rattle it right back off. Like, people don't think about that. That in itself, bro, I couldn't do it. You ever seen that clip of Sean Payton when he was calling the play to Drew Brees? It was like the first play of the game. He was like, hey, we're going to start with this. Yeah, bro, I'll be saying, can you repeat that? You want to start
Yeah.
over again?
Yeah.
Like, I can only imagine. It's a lot of pressure that falls on these guys' shoulders. Now, obviously, you have other quarterbacks that come in automatically and they start thriving right away. If you're not going to give that young quarterback an opportunity to sit back and learn, then you have to put pieces around him to make him to have, a winning formula. CJ Stroud, when he came in, they built a defense around him. They gave him a run game. And now, as he enters into his second year, people are talking about him having a sophomore slump and all of these things like that. But he has a Tank Dell around him. He has a Dalton Schultz. He has a solid offensive line. He has Joe Mixon. They went in free agency and got a running back for him. Having pieces like that around your quarterback helps them to be successful. But they're only going to be as successful as you allow them to be. If you don't believe he's developed enough, sit him down, go get a veteran quarterback, start him. Bryce Young should have been sat down from jump. Put the red rocket out there, let him learn for a year, and at some point tell him, here are the keys to the car. Because right now, all you're saying is, here are the keys, don't wreck the car, and he don't know how to drive yet. That's essentially what you're saying. How can you expect somebody that doesn't know how to drive to be able to drive properly and not wreck a car if they don't truly know what they're doing? You know what I'm saying? Yes, they might have done the driving simulation, which is college football, but they haven't driven yet. They haven't led an NFL franchise and having to win tough ball games and then go and stand in front of the media. And God forbid if you're in a big market, God forbid if you like a Daniel Jones, you know what I'm saying? And you're in New York and you go and you stink it up and you got to go in there and answer questions from one of the toughest media. God forbid if you're Jalen Hurts and you're in Philadelphia and you don't win the Super Bowl and you got to go answer those questions. I mean, if you look at some of those the successful quarterbacks that are in the league right now, they had a chance to sit back. And if they didn't, they had pieces put around them so they could win. So
I agree with you, man. I agree with you 100% about that. Daniel Jones stink it up every week in New York. So it ain't nothing different with Daniel Jones. But like you said, Tom Brady actually said that too. He said that they need to start sitting down and developing some of these quarterbacks because uh, the game is too watered down and it just doesn't look good at the quarterback position. Everybody's rushing to get that quarterback on the field, and God forbid, man, I would hate if I was a team that needed a quarterback and I had the first pick. Because if the quarterback's not that good, and we all know he's not that good, the media is pressuring us to take that guy. And we're looking at him like, bro, it's other people in this draft we could definitely take.
Thank you so much for watching this clip of the Fitz Take podcast. Be sure to like this video and also subscribe to the YouTube channel. And also follow me and Elijah on our social media platforms. They will be linked down in the description. And remember, every episode of the Fitz Take podcast will air right here on the YouTube channel every Monday at 2 p.m. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.